Buongiorno, my love.
Buongiorno.
Good morning. I'm here with co-leader for life, Jonathan Westbrook.
Hello.
And we're hanging out in the beautiful Villa Borghese, enjoying the horsemen behind us. And yes, I had a lovely birthday yesterday. Thank you so much to everyone for all of your birthday wishes. Good morning, Sharon. So I found it interesting. There was a big response to my video yesterday about the Army of Moms and needing an Army of Moms as the mediators and the facilitators and even the leadership developers out there in the world. And I think this is so interesting because this is something that I've thought about a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fascinating that it's resonating with other people as well.
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, that's true. So one of the things that I think is really kind of a crucial step in this process is valuing the skill sets that are obtained as a mother leader when we're in that space of being that mother leader.
Yeah, but the first step is to define them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I think about what young people think about when they're going out into society, they've got all these different options, on the table for them. It's, I could join the Peace Corps and develop this cultural understanding and empathy skills, or I could join the military and gain leadership and kind of discipline skills, etc. I could go do more school, whether that's undergrad or graduate or PhD, whatever it is, and gain technical knowledge and increased understanding. Or I could go into the workforce and gain specific industry-related skills. And all of those, as a society, we value all those experiences. And we say, oh, yeah, look at those things that person gathered. But what you brought up yesterday and what you kind of what you lead this charge for, or at least a voice for, is the value of the skills that you gain as a full-time care provider for your kiddos.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because I feel like this is almost like it's not an acceptable part of the career path. It's not an acceptable, sort of like a society-wide accepted step in a career progression is to take that time to really be the mother leader, the father leader, be kind of like that full-time care provider as a possibility in the career progression. And it's so interesting because at the same time, as I'm going out there and I'm talking with recruiters and government leaders and heads of institutions and organizations around the world, the skill sets that they're looking for, what they're asking for from people are skill sets like how to manage a long-term project, like maybe like an 18-year project, like we parents call children, without a whole lot of oversight and assistance from anybody else, how to independently manage those projects. How do we, motivate team members without using any kind of retribution or, using any kind of firing or taking away of bonuses, like how we motivate a toddler to use the toilet, which is one of the toughest leadership challenges that I've ever had in my life. How do we grow systems and teams and empower each individual in that team to have their voice be heard and then also work effectively together? How do we make that happen?
Yeah. Operating in ambiguity, in ambiguous situations, going on independent research, identifying your organization's values, and then as a leader figuring out how you're going to live those values and demonstrate that to your team, and then identify whether or not that's sinking in, and that your team members are also living those values.
Yeah.
And if that resonates.
Yeah. Yeah. And
all those are mother leader skills.
These are all skill sets that we gain as we are stepping into that role of being a full-time care provider. And it's fascinating that we don't seem to have systems that are out there right now that kind of link up those skill sets with that actual profession.
That experience.
Yeah, so that like when we are in a profession of being like a full-time parent or a full-time care provider, that there's not a whole lot of recognition of those skill sets that are gained there.
I'd say it's the opposite. It's like there's a gap, like you said, there's this gap in my resume.
Yeah. After I was a full-time care provider for 6 years for our children, and going out and even trying to get volunteer positions, everybody would look at my resume and say, well, there's a hole in your resume right there. And I was like, that's not a hole. Let me tell you about the things that I gained during that time. So it seems like in sort of building an army of moms that are going to go out and clean up the mess, we need to have these systems and these maybe certifications and these pathways that we create for those people who have stepped into those shoes, in order to empower them to then go out and have that kind of authoritative voice then in society, and use those skill sets that they've gained and really honed over the years. I think it's a really interesting, intriguing issue and question.
Yeah, it's not to say that like that you shouldn't go one way. You shouldn't go to the Peace Corps, the military. All these things are better or worse. They're just different.
Yes.
But now we've got to find a way to acknowledge and honor that experience, just like somebody coming back from an overseas, tour of building communities.
Yeah.
Like in the developing world, it's like, wow, we honor that. That's amazing. We should do the same for mother leaders.
Yeah, exactly. That it's a path that's invested in, that's valued, that's developed, and that's grown. Because it's something that is actually needed out there in society too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It.
Those are our thoughts
True.
for the day today. Hope you guys have a beautiful day.
Have a memorable day, everyone.
Yep. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.